These are two what are called sub-hymns. So it happens in some hymns, there are different gods are invoked, and it's almost always like a trilogy. There are 3 mantras to that god, 3 mantras to that, and so on. And Saraswati in this hymn comes at the last, number 10 and 12. There is another hymn, she comes even at 16, 18, and maybe I don't want to go into detail, but there is a very simple, the first mantra is very nice for an invocation. So in that context, I thought we can do this, and then we finish with the 3 of the other text. I don't know if you people know it. Ambitame, Naditame, Devi. It will be very, in a way, simple, but also very direct. We'll try this. And in that hymn, it says, when we are without prashasti, then give us prashasti or suprashasta, prashasta, because prashasta also, maybe you use it in Hindi, prashasta, they will say praise. Shams, because the root shams, But Sri Aurobindo always translates it expression, you see, to bring into expression. So they will ask Saraswati, if we are without praise, creative praise for us, what does it really mean? No? So I would still also feel, she is the river of inspiration. So if we are without flow, with movement of expression, then you create for us that expression, because that is the role of Saraswati in a way. That's why you invoke her before the music or the Bharatanatyam or whatever. She is that power which inspires us, you see. And so it's very nice. It's all in superlative, vocative case. So Ambitame, Naditame, Devitame, Saraswati. Aprashasta ivasmasi, prashastim amba naskriti. So here it's very simple Sanskrit. It's all what is called superlative. No, tama means most. It's not to mix it up with the word tamas. So tam is just more of that. So ambitame, it would be ambitama. So best mother. And then it's in long A is all in vocative case, which will become A. So ambitami means O best mother, naditame O best river, O best stream, devitame O best goddess, and then Saraswati. And those who want to look at Sanskrit, here you will see the Saraswati has a short E. That's because she is in vocative case. She is directly spoken at. If she would be the subject, it would be Saraswati, or Saraswatim as the object. So here the short E indicates also, and also because the accent, the udatta, is on the first letter. When you call somebody direct by name, the accent shifts on the first sound, that person will hear you. You will say, come here, you say, George. George has only one sound, what should we do? Maybe Miriam. Actually, you would say Miriam, you don't say Miriam. That would be in Tamil, then you have to say Mirama, then you put the A behind. But usually means the accent is on the first. So that's why you have here Ambitame, Naditame, Devitame, Saras. You can, so it is shown with that Vedic accent with what intensity he's calling that goddess. It's living speech. It's really, it's like somebody's there and you call that person. You want that person to hear you. So this is all very unique in the Veda, because in other texts you don't have the accent anymore. So then he says, aprashasta, the visarga is dropped. That means we, without prashasta, iva, is if we are as if without. Smasi means we, and that's also Vedic. It is actually smach. It is that as root, asti stach santi, asi stach sta, asmi, swach, smach. But here it is smasi. So they add to the end, they make the visarga into z and put an e behind. So that is possible in Vedic verbs. So they, instead of smach, they make smasi, which means we, smasi. Yes. So smasi means we, vayam smasi. So if we are without expression, then prashastim, amba, naskriti. Then, O Mother, create for us expression. But then the mother is in the middle of the sentence, then she is no more the emphasis, there is no udatta. So only prashastim says, prashastim amba naskriti, nothing else has accent. So that means then here this is the emphasis. Like first she is called 4 times, and then when we have no expression, if we are as if without expression, or if we are likely without expression, create for us that expression. And also very typical, always the prefix pra, because pra means forward. And even what Aurobindo says in prajnana and prajna, it is objectifying, but objectifying in the positive sense. Coming out of yourself, creating something, becoming aware of something, knowing something. So that's why the pra is there. It's not only shasti or shamsati. So this could be, like a simple invocation of Saraswati. One could use it like people use so many mantras. I always find it strange that from the Veda they choose only Gayatri and Triambaka. There are 10,000 mantras and 2 are chosen. And a few peace chants, a little bit Shanno Mitra, but which just the Upanishad is known through it. But meaning, I feel there could be hundreds of beautiful verses which even individually one could choose and make as a kind of upasana.
So why do these only a handful of them were picked and became famous?
That's a very good question. Why they did it at that time and afterwards nobody felt the need to do the same. So people were satisfied with handing down these mantras. Yes. And then they are not even literally translated. Many times they are interpreted very free. Like the Triambaka, nobody translates it what is written there actually. Very strange also. So it becomes a kind of a convention. Of course, they are considered very powerful mantras in the yoga tradition. Triambakam yajamahi, but also, of course, the Gayatri. But as I say, there will be many mantras. You could say it was a very interesting mind why they chose this. There's something special there, but at the same time, you could feel those, when they did it, why generation after generation nobody else did it anymore. Maybe because that thing became, let them do, we take it from them. Nobody has time even or interest to study that old text, But so as I say, why not to invoke in the next function Saraswati like that? So shall we recite it together? Ambitame naditame Devitame Saraswati Aprashasta ivasmasi Prashastimam vanaskriti Ambitame naditame Devitame Saraswati Aprashasta ivasmasi Prashastimam vanaskriti Ambitame naditame Devitame Saraswati Aprashasta ivasmasi Prashastimam vanaskriti.
The last part of it,
Prashastim amba naskriti. And you see there is no amba. Amba. Naskriti. So you see there is, but I keep it all the same because there is no accent here anymore. Because kriti is a verb, has no accent in the sentence. Nas is a shortcut for us, which has no accent. And amba is also unaccented in the middle of the verse here. So only the prashasti has the accent. So I say prashasti mambanas kriti. Not amba, prashasti mambanas kriti. So that, yes, you could almost flow with that because it has the viram, it's a bit misleading. Prashasti mambanas kriti. Maybe one more time. Ambitame naditame. Devitame Saraswati. Aprashasta ivasmasi. Prashastim amba naskriti. You know, because in that Vedic perception, you could translate this in so many ways. You could say, if we are unconscious, create for us the conscious connection again. And you will see that now, if we go to the second other hymn, we'll go more in detail. There she is so beautifully psychologically explained what she is seen at. So these are 3 mantras which Aurobindo has commented in detail in The Secret of the Veda, so I have added something from this comment also. So I'll recite all the 3. Pavakanah Saraswati Vajebhir Vajini Vati Yajnam Vashtu Tyavasu Chodayitri Sunrutanam Chetanti Sumati Nam Yajnam Date Saraswati Maho Arnach Saraswati Prachetayati Ketuna Diyo Vishva Virajati. So Sri Aurobindo's translation here, may purifying Saraswati with all the plenitude of her forms of plenty, rich in substance by the thought, desire our sacrifice. So here you could say already she has a rich substance, but with the D, with the thought. But she has also the Vaja, very difficult Vedic term, some fullness of energy, because that seems to be always in the Veda there. There's always knowledge and thought, but there's also pranic, virya, force. Vajas, they relate also to ojas, to that brilliant energy. So that is very general, but she also, like the fire, you see, she is called the purifier, because we know water also cleanses, so that river. And then when we go to the next verse on the Chodayitri Sunrutanam Chetanti Sumatinam Yajnam Date Saraswati. For me, one of the most beautiful lines. So, she, the impeller to happy truth, the awakener in consciousness to right mentalizings. Saraswati upholds the sacrifice. I have given probably a bit more literal translation also. So, the inspirer of happy truth, the awakener of right thinkings, the stream of inspiration upholds the sacrifice. So it's so beautiful, this Chodayitri, Jude, it's like in Prachodayat, in the Gayatri. So she brings forward. You could say this impelling, it's also inspiring. You could also translate it as inspiring. And this is a very typical Vedic term, Sunrita. So they will say like Anrita, in front of the Nri sound, you don't say Arita, you say Anrita. So at the same time, you don't say Surita, you say Sunrita. So Sunrita would mean the happy truth. And here it's in genitive plural. So Sunritanam, and then Sumatinam, the happy thoughts. So Chodayitri, she sets in motion the happy truth, and she awakens, Chetanti, the right thoughts, you see. And that's Yajnam Date Saraswati, she upholds our Yajna.
Can you explain the first one again? Chodayitri.
Sunritanam, Sunru. Chodayitri, right.
What's the word?
The root is Chud. Chud, right.
And what does it mean?
So impel, push, set in motion.
She pushes things in motion.
Right, it's like as I say, Diyoyonaf Prachodayat. So you translate, may he impel our thoughts or may he inspire our thoughts, right? Set in motion, right, which would probably mean no to, but here of course it's not the thoughts she should awake, but the happy truth, what does it really mean here?
Pushes the happy thoughts.
Right. The habit truth, what is that? That which awakes in us. I would really take it. I could go into detail because the habit truths are also the aksharas, the syllables of the speech, but they are also the cows of the Veda. So when the cows come out of the cave, when the light of our soul light has been trapped in the darkness and it's released, these are also called the habit truths. So it relates to something which has been, in the subconscious, which could not express itself. So, and Sayana even says, he says even happy voices of the truth, and sometimes Aurobindo picks it up also, as if it's a true speech, so that's why it comes out. But that she sets in motion the true expression also, again because that prashasti in the other hymn. But then also she awakens the right thoughts. There will be a lot of suggestion for the Rishi, you can be sure. It can mean many, many things. But I feel psychologically we can reach Aurobindo's comment. We just go to the third mantra where it says, Maho Arnach Saraswati Prachetayati Ketuna Dio Vishwa Virachati. So by the perception, she awakens in consciousness the great flood. So Sri Aurobindo says the vast movement of the rhythm of the truth and illumines entirely all the thoughts.
In the last movement of the hymn, we have the clear and unmistakable indication of the truth consciousness as the goal of the sacrifice. For these are the three riks devoted to Saraswati, the divine word, who represents the stream of inspiration that descends from the truth consciousness. The sense of the first two verses is clear enough when we know Saraswati to be that power of the truth which we call inspiration. Inspiration from the truth purifies by getting rid of all falsehood. For all sin, according to Indian idea, is mere falsehood, wrongly inspired emotion, wrongly directed will and action. The central idea of life and ourselves from which we start is a falsehood, and all else is falsified by it. The truth comes to us as a light, a voice, compelling a chance of thought, imposing a new discernment of ourselves and all around us. Truth of thought creates truth of vision, and truth of vision forms in us truth of being, and out of truth of being, Satyam, flows naturally truth of emotion, will and action. This is indeed the central notion of the Veda.
The long A is always Pavaka, whereas in the Vedic, the Western scholars, they are sure that in the Veda it must have been pronounced opposite. It's not Pavaka but Pavaka. So we'll try. Pavakana Saraswati.
Pavakana Saraswati.
Vaje Virvajini Vati.
Vaje Virvajini Vati.
Yajnam Vastu Thyavasu.
Yajnam Vastu Thyavasu.
So I will go to the next. Chodayitri Sunruthanam Chetanti Sumati Nam Yajnam Tate Saraswati. Chodayitri Sunruthanam Chetanti Sumati Nam
Chetanti Sumati Nam
Yajnam Tate Saraswati.
Yajnam Tate Saraswati.
So we will read the commentary now. Who likes to read the commentary?
She upholds the sacrifice, the offering of the mortal beings' activities to the divine.
Can you see this now, what Aurobindo means here by sacrifice? He says the offering of the mortal beings' activities to the divine. That is the sacrifice. Sorry, go.
Yeah. So she upholds the sacrifice, the offering of the mortal beings' activities to the divine by awakening his consciousness so that it assumes right states of emotion and right movements of thought in accordance with the truth from which she pours her illuminations, and by impelling it in the rise of those truths which, according to the Vedic rishis, liberate the life and being from falsehood, weakness and limitation, and open to it the doors of the supreme felicity.
So he says, by impelling in it the rise of those truths which according to the Vedic rishis liberate the life, as if these happy truths, they are like something. The dawn is called also Sundrita, when that light comes out. It's really as if some kind of an energy also, Yes?
Usually when you have the suffix repeats su,
Yes.
suvita, the su is nisva. So here in sumruta,
Right.
the su is ir.
Yes, that's a good question. I don't know. That's why some scholars will not accept that it means soon Rita. Why is it lengthened also? It could be also used metrically like that, and maybe it's always put in such a position where it is long. There seems to be a preference for this soon Rita. Because Sunrita, okay, you can say Sunrita, Sunrita. I don't know.
Rita is truth, right?
Rita is truth. And no, you see, the comparison was that if you can say Satya and Asatya, truth and not truth, but you don't say Rita and Arita. They don't want to use that sound, so they put n in between. Look, in English, unending. In front of E vowel, you say unending. Also, they use that. In front of a vowel, actually in Sanskrit, the A becomes un. So, Rita, Anritam. So, usually Su is enough in front of the good thing, but in front of that vowel also, probably they don't want to say Surita, Surita, Sunrita. But then why they lengthen the U, she is asking. Why should it could be just Sunrita? But I also feel because the Ri itself is already in a way heavy, Sunrita. But it's all, I'm getting used to it. It's a word I like very much, and it comes many times. So we go to number 3. Maho Arnach Saraswati Prachetayati Ketuna Diyo Vishva Virachati. So Sri Aurobindo translates, Saraswati by the perception awakens in consciousness the great flood, the vast movement of the rhythm, and illumines entirely all the thoughts. So here you have Maho Arnas, which are both in neuter gender. Maho Arnas, so the great flood, Arna from the root Ri again, to flow, to move. And Saraswati Prachetayati, so she makes it conscious by her Ketu. Ketu can mean many things. Sri Aurobindo takes it from the Chit root again, the perception. It can also mean a sign, a sign in the sky, a banner, something which takes your attention. But it's interesting, he uses the causative of Chit, Chetayati, makes conscious, So he says awakens in consciousness. So with her, by the perception, she awakens in consciousness the great flood. So that would mean probably also in our, because by means also in, By means of that means when they say with the mind, it means actually in the mind. So you could translate it also in our perception, you understand? In our awareness, she awakens the great flood, which for them in the Veda there is an ocean of light and there is an ocean of darkness. So that superconscient, Sri Aurobindo calls that it's part of the truth consciousness. So she makes us conscious of that flood. So imagine that stream which comes down, and she makes us conscious of that whole ocean of light which is behind, so to say. And in that way, Tiyo Vishva Virajati. You can see there is some similarity in the Gayatri mantra there. This Tiyo Yona Prachodayat. And here it is, she should first Chodayitri Sunritanam, she is also Chodayat, and now she is Rajadi Vishvadiyo. All the sorts she shines about. Because again, here he translates illumines, because Raj means also to radiate, not only to rule. So she radiates over all our thoughts. But imagine this kind of a inspiration, which is like an ocean of light. One could, sometimes I feel you could make beautiful paintings with this, you know. So we'll read it together. Maho Arnach Saraswati.
Maho Arnach Saraswati.
Prajetayati Ketuna.
Prajetayati Ketuna.
Tiyo Vishva Virajati.
Tiyo Vishva Virajati.
Nice. So maybe we'll do one more time all the 3 verses to get into it. So the first verse says, may she with her fullness of energy, you know, desire our sacrifice and be luminous in our thought, she who purifies, because she is luminous in our thought. And then the second says, and then may she awake all these latent happy states of truth, which are, so to say, waiting to come out. And awaken the right thinkings, the right attitudes towards everything. But then already, you know, in the first mantra he says, Vashtu, may she do it, may she desire our sacrifice. Now, in the next verse already she says, Dade, she's holding it, as if she's already acting, you understand? You know? And then he says, now she is illumining all the thoughts and sets in motion the great flood. So you could imagine these are 3 states of inner experience. So we recite it all the 3. Pavakanach Saraswati.
Pavakanach Saraswati.
Vajebhirvajini Bati.
Vajebhirvajini Bati.
Yajnam Vashtu Tiyavasu.
Yajnam Vashtu Tiyavasu.
Chodayitri Sunrutanam.
Chodayitri Sunrutanam.
Chetanti Sumati Nam.
Chetanti Sumati Nam.
Yajnam Date Saraswati.
Yajnam Date Saraswati.
Maho Arnach Saraswati.
Maho Arnach Saraswati.
Prajetayati Ketuna.
Prajetayati Ketuna.
Tiyo Vishva Virajati.
Tiyo Vishva Virajati.
So,
Yes, please.
for the the 4 forces of the mother.
Yes.
The roots.
Right. Because in the Tantra there are Dasha Mahavidyas, Aurobindo, so to say, concentrates them more, because you could say Maheshwari contains something of the other Vidyas also, and Lakshmi also.
Right.
It's just a different emphasis, so to say.
Do the Vedas describe all of them?
Not in this way, not in this particular way. There will be, generally there will be the Parashakti, Aditi, and interestingly the Veda says the dawn comes more often in the hymns. Aditi is mentioned all over, but not so much focused. And it's the same like with Vishnu and Rudra. And Sri Aurobindo says those gods which come less in the Veda, they are not minor. They are actually more vast and transcendence who hold everything from behind. So if they manifest, they have, so to say, first their emanations. So Aditi, for example, he says, because there is one hymn to the dawn is usually Aditi, the Divine Mother, and she is called Adityar Anikam. And Anika means the face or the front of the dawn, is the front of Aditi. And also the Vaj is the speech of Aditi, so to say, the Vakdevi. So it's seen like that. So Aditi is seen as that infinite universal mother who contains everything, who is the mother of all the gods of everything. And when she is revealing herself, she is the dawn. And when she expresses herself, she is the vak, the speech. So it's looked upon in this kind of a sense. And then, of course, even Sri Aurobindo calls Saraswati the word. So in the Veda, Saraswati is still identical. She is the form of Vach, as that flow of the speech also. There is one big hymn where the Vak Devi is invoked. It's called Gauri, or there she is called Gauri. Gauri Mimaya Salilani Takshati. Very beautiful. They are actually on the Devi Sukta. Tomorrow we'll see it on the background. And there also Saraswati is invoked afterwards also. So meaning Saraswati is seen in the Veda always in connection with the mantra, with the speech, which is also actually in the Indian classical tradition, in the school, for example. I feel that Vidya, what you call, it is still that, for me it's still related with that learning. And then maybe what you come about, interestingly, Sri Aurobindo emphasizes in his system the skill. No? I don't see a contradiction there, but I noticed that also. Sri Aurobindo, for him, Saraswati has, in his system, she is more that perfection. But you know, the skill and the harmony, it's also, no, that she says her minute labor and mind, and she says she is the most patient of them all because she finishes that work. She comes last because to accomplish perfection is the most difficult thing.
Comes last.
She comes last of the four.
The most closest to the physical.
Yes. But you could say her fulfillment will be last.
But in the, what it means is in the inner
Yes.
world, the insurrection of truth,
Yes.
the establishment of truth
Detail.
in detail is probably going to happen at the. So would it mean that Saraswati would flow at the very end? So in your own sadhana,
I wouldn't say that, of course, because I live more also in that Vedic perspective, but you could say she has to flow until her whole flow is established everywhere. That takes up the very end. And this reminds me, it's interesting in these two hymns, no? Because in these two hymns, she is invoked after many gods. There will be invoked before Vayu, the prana god. So it's actually true, before that supreme light can flow down, it needs a lot of preparation in that way. Right, that's also a point. But I always feel at the same time in this simple mantra with the prashasti, no? But we need her from the beginning to inspire us, to that express us.
That's what I was thinking, because if she is somebody who actually attains perfection
Yes.
through attention,
Yes.
so we should begin with her. And
Yes.
then, I think she flows through to attaining that.
Yes, until the last, right, until the last space.
what all gods are invoked before her in this?
Yeah, it's very interesting. In this hymn, which we just dealt with, which Aurobindo totally goes through, it is first the Ashwins, then Indra, then the Vishvedevas, and then Saraswati. So even Indra is invoked before. The Ashwins are for Sri Aurobindo because they are the riders of the horse. They always relate to the pranic energies, but to divine, very, sublime, sublimated pranic higher energies. But in another hymn, there will be first Vayu will be invoked, and then Indra. So he says always the pranic force has to be taken up by the mind, you see. But then here you would say, so when Indra takes it up, then all the gods are spreading out, and then it still goes back as a crowning result here. In that hymn, Saraswati is really the crowning.
But
Vishvedeva.
Vishvedeva.
It's a term for all the gods. All the gods in harmony functioning together, like a whole orchestral movement of different powers. And then she comes only. So that's quite a culmination here, I agree. And in the other hymn, I didn't write it for you, but I have it in my other copy.
And all these things.
In harmony, it's like balance inside of you. And then comes the crown.
But we should still take it, or maybe you could take it also in the context with the performing, the artists. I'm sure they invoke her in the home also before they practice, but maybe she is also invoked in public at the performance. As if, the completion, the skill has already been learned. And then she is fully expressed in that thing. And we know what a work it is for the artist before we'll enjoy him playing. And we feel he is one with what he's doing. He's not practicing some art. he is that art, so to say. That would be, you could say, then he is also accomplished in Saraswati in that way. But I would still say the beginning and at the end. In this other hymn, it is Vayu, Indra Vayu, Mitra Varuna, Ashwins, Indra, Vishwe, Deva again. Very complex, very complex. So maybe to get to her source, because don't forget there we are going to that Maha Arnas, to that vast ocean of light we are relating. But you could say we can also call her to come a bit down to us. Yeah, of course, you can also invoke and work on that, of course. You can do that, of course, of course. Of course, that would be the ideal way, but as I say, in one other way, all Vedic gods can also represent all the other powers. There is one hymn where Saraswati alone is invoked and she is doing the working of all the other gods.
This is a very practical thing in sadhana, like all the things that Veda
Yes.
describes.
Yes.
I find it very practical.
Yes, it is. When you take it, when you approach it with this attitude, you will see it, as you say. Right, right.